Hello everyone and welcome back to the YouTube debate lecture series. Today is the third lecture and today we're going to learn about rebuttals. Okay, so what is a rebuttal? A rebuttal, I guess you can say it's disproving the other team's argument, but that isn't always true because sometimes you disprove it, but sometimes you just say it's unimportant. So how I would define it in an AP debate, the world schools debate type of way is any point that weakens the point given by the other team. So the point is that it weakens it. It weakens it by making that point more useless in the debate, making that point more unlikely to help their own side. So that's the important thing of what a rebuttal is. So that's the definition. But a rebuttal is something that we go through in everyday life. We say that something is wrong when we're in an argument. We say that something is unimportant, and we say that our point is better. So basically, that's what a rebuttal would be. Now, there are many types of rebuttals, but the first thing that I want to say that is that just like any type of debate lecture, any type of topic in a debate lecture, really, these specifics don't really matter. So, for example, not for example. So what I'm trying to say is the specific steps don't really matter as long as you're being logical and as long as you're keeping this principle of weakening the point given by the other team. So the most likely thing that you're going to do in a debate is you go in there, you listen to the speech, you think about that why that point is not really that good, and then you say, hey, that's not really that good because of these logical reasons. As long as you do that, that's fine. Because I'm going to give you some lectures about how to do this, but it's going to be confusing. So just in case you forget that, that's the underlying one sentence that you need in today's lecture. All right, types of rebuttals. The first thing is to say that you are wrong. This first type, saying that you are wrong, would be what can also be called disproving, I guess. For more debate jargon, it'll be a direct rebuttal, directly saying that you are wrong. And for another debate jargon, I guess, would be refuting the mechanism, or maybe it's rebutting the mechanism. I don't know, but like anyway, like tackling the mechanism. So these things are fundamental. These are basic. So for example, let's say that the other team says, hmm, they say that like factually wrong stuff. Like they say the FIFA World Cup is only watched by soccer fans. And then you would say that, hey, first, you're wrong because that's not the name of the sport. But also, you'll say that it's not only soccer fans, it's generally the people of the country, the citizens of the country. Because the World Cup is not just a soccer event, it's an event that unites everyone. And even people that do not watch sports come in and watch these games. My mom and my dad watches them, my friends that don't know soccer watch them, and that's why that point is wrong. So that's how you're going to refute that point, by saying that they are not actually correct. This is simple. One thing that I want to tell you when doing rebuttals is that you can be wrong on many levels. So you're not just wrong on one level. So you can be wrong on many points in the mechanism because the mechanism isn't just one sentence. The mechanism is going to be this is true because of this. This is true because of that. Well, that means this is this. So this means that that is this, and this implies that. In this big line and logical flow of mechanisms, your opponent may be wrong, or you can argue that they're wrong in these many points. So let's talk about an example. For example, let's say that the argument is, oh, all right, what's a good example? Social media should be banned because children are uh, too immature to um, filter inappropriate content. So let's say that these are wrong. Now, first of all, I can say that, hey, children are not actually immature. Children are mature enough because children are exposed to the same social media content again and again. They know how to filter content because that is something that they watch every time and they watch for a lot of time. You can say that there are many education that you can either put in the modeling or that is already done about social mediation. So children are not actually immature. But you can say that they are wrong on this level. For example, you can say that children are immature, but they're still able to filter inappropriate content for those said reasons. You can say that there's not really much inappropriate content in the first place. So you are wrong saying that there's a lot of inappropriate content because, for example, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram already filters content that is not good and that is already harming the children. So therefore, you can say that they're wrong in that level. You can also say that the part that is wrong is that even though this may be true, that social media should be banned, that part is wrong because you can say that, oh, this is more of another type of rebuttal, but just to give you an exercise, social media should not be banned because even though there's some inappropriate content, that's just a part of it. I mean, the entertainment that the students get, the education the students get, that is actually way bigger. So therefore, they should not be banned just for that reason. So cut the mechanism in many ways. Second type, that's not important. So this is called an even if rebuttal. It's also called an indirect rebuttal. And an even if rebuttal is often given by saying even if, but another way is saying that assuming without conceding. It's kind of cringe, but this is something people say. Now, assuming something without conceding it, and then blah, 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 then I give an indirect rebuttal. All right. Yeah, I don't think of examples beforehand. So it's like when you're giving a lecture, it's not easy to give examples on top of it. All right. Let's say that the argument made is nuclear weapons should be banned because it is very because it is a weapon of very mass high destruction. This is what your opponent said. Then you can argue, hey, nuclear weapons are not dangerous by giving the direct rebuttal, but that would be weak because that point would be weak because nuclear weapons are dangerous, and we all know that. So what you would rather say is, hey, we know that these are weapons with high destruction, but that's not important because even if they are weapons that highly destruct society, that may highly destruct society, that's not done because world peace is kept since we have nuclear weapons, as countries do not attack each other because they fear that the world will go into not just chaos, but actual destruction. So that's what you do. Even if you are true, that's not the important part. The thing that I see is the important part, is one way that you rebut. So, yeah, keep that in mind, an even if rebuttal. And obviously, even if rebuttals can also be given in multiple levels. So you can have 3 direct rebuttals and 2 even if rebuttals. That's possible. You might have 1 direct rebuttal. You might have 1 direct rebuttal and 1 even if rebuttal. That's also possible. You know, quality over quantity, but many quantity if you can. So that's part of it. All right. This is the easy part. And from the third part, it's not that easy. And it is commonly used, but people don't do this consciously. I mean, I hope not. It's called flipping, which already sounds a bit weird, like you're flipping an argument, like you're flipping a rock. But okay, so what is flipping? So it is saying that, I mean, I think is this is saying that, I mean, like, I know how to give rebuttals. It's just I'm not exactly sure if this fits into the category of flipping, but these are super confusing and a bit weird anyway, so we'll just cluster that together. So the first thing that you do is um, your mechanism is true, but that proves another harm on your side. So your mechanism is true. Because that is true, that actually proves that your side is bad. For example, let's try and take an example. Your mechanism is true, but that proves another harm on your side is bad. Let's say the motion is this house would ban corporal punishment. And then your opponent says that corporal punishment should be allowed because students will feel the pain of you. Now, here you can say, well, this is kind of an even if rebuttal, but we're trying to learn this part right now. So here you can say, hey, I agree with your mechanism that students will feel the pain of you. That part is true. But the impact that you access is not impact access means that the impact that you get. The impact that you access is not that the impact that you claim. Students do not feel, I guess, students do not feel like disciplined, but the actual impact that you get is they are hurt a lot, and therefore they feel a lot of pain. They're going to hate the teacher. They're going to hate studying. They're going to hate school, and just regardless of any of that, they feel a lot of pain, which is abusive, which is bad for the children, which we should not do. So it is using their mechanism to draw out an impact that harms their side and benefits your side. So I guess you can say, but that proves another harm on your side slash proves the benefit on our side, like preventing the harm or by adding a benefit. So that's one part of flipping, I think. And then another thing would be uh your sorry, it's not I see your mechanism is true, but it's actually more true on our side. So for example, all right, this I worded it a little bit wrong. I would say that your impact is true, but it's actually more true on our side. Yeah, that makes more sense. So for example, let's use the same example, because I don't want to think of new ones. Um, if this is the premise, this is the argument, hey, corporal punishment should be allowed because students will feel the pain of you can say that, so your impact that you're trying to get is discipline, but discipline is better accessed on our side because when students actually learn what they do wrong, like the actual stuff that they did wrong and why that is wrong, that is when they are disciplined. Or they're much more disciplined when they respect the teacher and when order is kept in a natural way, not in a way like in a place that corporal punishment and hitting happens all the time. So you can say that your impact is true, but it actually happens in more true on our side. So we basically, you're kind of being a smart guy. You're using it like you're trying to be smart. But me personally, like I never went through this thought process ever. It's just that it's just kind of naturally comes in your head, right? Like for example, you see this line, and it kind of naturally comes in your head that, oh, you're talking about you get discipline? No, our side gets better discipline. Like that's pretty natural. And I guess this could just be a this too. It could just be an even if argument too, because you can just say, hey, even if your side gets disciplined, our side also gets disciplined. Like this is kind of an even if rebuttal, like in a large scope. So I just spelled it out for you, I guess. Like this would be the process of thinking that, but just try to think creatively. Like creativity is very important in debate. You have one sentence, you have one motion, you have one fact in your head, and you use that to derive a new line of logic, which in this case will be a rebuttal. So be creative, be innovative, and think of ideas that are not common. They already exist in the world, but they're just not common. So that would be flipping. And number four would be weighing, which isn't really a rebuttal, but I want to say it here. Weighing is comparing two arguments and explaining why your point is better. But this is for another time because it's going to be a very long lecture if you also do weighing here. So these are the four types of rebuttals that I wanted to tell you today. And one more thing here is that when you are able to do a direct rebuttal, then you should do it. Like in this case about the nuclear weapons argument, you can't really give a direct rebuttal because that'd be a bit weird. But in for example, like these cases, you should give a direct rebuttal. Now, why should you give a direct rebuttal? It's because if you don't give a direct rebuttal, it kind of sounds like you're unable to disprove that person, or that it sounds like you're unable to refute the mechanism. So always do the direct rebuttal first, and then the stuff, unless you're unable to do it. That would be rebuttals. Rebuttals are given by DPM DLO or any speaker really. And that'll be today's lecture. Thank you.